Actually, a more fun way to do this would probably just be to jump off the side and then just place. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more FTB Skies 2. Today, we are going to hopefully be solving our current power problem. Because we do have a little bit of a power problem. Now, I have tried to solve it off screen. It didn't entirely work, but it has resulted in a few interesting things. So on my coal generation, I switched this to a factory so that way this starts taking in coal, or not coal, power. That way it can just start producing coal without needing two spruce sources to get this whole thing going, to then go over here into power. I also have the power going back over here, but that wasn't enough. So what I also have over here is a bunch of chutes from Create with the bonsai pods, taking all the stuff down, sending it into this control access point, and bringing all the contents over to here. This is then also getting the spruce logs taken in over to here, and then over here, it is taking out these saplings with water and creating biofuel, which I have going into these two biofuel generators. I don't know the exact amount that it makes, but it doesn't actually use up that much of the biofuel produced by a spruce. So it's a pretty solid energy source, but it's still not actually enough. That might be due to the fact that I'm using an emerald furnace, to be fair, but we still have a few things that we need to take care of when it comes to that. So I want to try getting other energy sources. And the biggest thing, though, before that, is actually going to be the transference of energy. That is where Ender.io is going to come in, because when I can't get Flux networks, getting Endergates is going to be my next best bet. But for us to do that, we're going to need to first start up the mod a little bit. So our first quest is going to be for us to get the orb, also known as the energizing orb. Now, for us to get this, we are first going to need to get ourselves some dielectric paste. So now we got our paste, we now need to convert this into dielectric casing so that way we can get our orb. For that, we're going to need these rods. For that, we're going to need a crap ton of these iron bars. So now with what we have, though, we can go ahead and make ourselves our dielectric rods. And the best part about this is there's two different types of rods that we're going to need. We've got the normal horizontal rods, and then we also got the vertical rods, which we could make in that same recipe with the iron bars, or we can just flip-flop them like this. There we go. Now we got ourselves our dielectric casing. Hey, I waited so long it became daytime, so let's go ahead and make ourselves the orb and get that part out of the way. So let's see. Does that give me anything? No, not until I make the next thing, which is going to be the energizing rod. Now, the energizing rod will take another one of these dielectric casing, but we're also going to need this new thing called a basic capacitor tiny, which then gives me everything I need for the energizing rod starter. The energizing rods can be upgraded. All I need is another of these casings, and then it looks like I'm going to need a whole block of quartz, which should then get me a basic energizing rod. The only real benefit I have for this one is that it'll allow me to transfer more power. Now we have ourselves our energizing orb, which I can just go ahead and put over here. I believe I can actually connect these guys to pipes. No, actually, I can't do that anymore. I know I used to be able to actually connect the energizing rods to other things, but it looks like I'm actually gonna need the cables. Well, either way, it does give me a good bit of these guys, so it's not exactly a problem. So there we go. Now we've got ourselves our energizing cables, which I believe can connect to these, because yeah, those guys are being connected there. So if I put my energizing rod, yeah, okay, the power's going in, the textures are just sort of wonky, but there we go. Now we got these guys, and I should be fine on the coal for a little bit, so diverting my power over to these shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially since, yeah, once they reach their hard caps, I no longer need to worry until I put a crafting recipe in here. Now, that crafting recipe is going to be for energized steel. It's a very easy recipe. It's just going to take an iron and a gold. Now, what is annoying about this, though, is I'm going to go ahead and grab our gold and our iron right here. I just need to put the I because they both have ingots. Fun way you guys work. But what's not fun about Powah is it's very hyper-specific. So if I want to have this recipe work, I can't just have a buttload of iron and gold in here. I need to have the exact amount to craft one of each of these put in at the time. And there we go. That then gets me 2 energized steel. After this, we could then go down the line of blazing crystals, which in fact, if I did want to go down that line, that would actually help me with another energy source, which would be the thermogenerators, which what these guys do is they balance different coolants and heat sources to be able to get me things. And with a block of the blazing crystals, I get a massive heat source boost, but I don't really have any of the coolants. That wouldn't really be worth it. Also, I don't have any blaze powder. Right now, we can now get ourselves our Endergates. But for us to get those Endergates, we're first going to need something, which is an Ender Cell. The Ender Cell is basically the heart of the gates where they pull power from. For us to get this first, we're going to need an Ender Core, which is another reason why we needed our Energizing Orb, which is going to take an Eye of Ender, a dielectric casing, and another basic capacitor. I'm gonna need to make a few more of these things, but I should hopefully have more. Okay, no. All right, I managed to get another one of these Eyes of Ender, and actually, this is a perfect opportunity for me to show this. So if I go ahead and put these guys in here, we got both of those in there, both of all of these in here. You can see, this is not working. But if I go ahead and take out that one, and then input the rest of these, now we can see it is charging. It's gonna take a good bit of power for where I'm at now, but there we go. Now we have our Ender Core. Now for the rest of this, I'm gonna need to get myself some obsidian.
You get the idea.
All right, I should have everything I'm gonna need for all that now. So now we can actually go ahead and make ourselves our Ender Cell. So here we go. Now we've got this baby already and raring. And now when I connect this to a power spot, we will have opened up a power network. The best spot would actually be right here, since this connects both of these power sources all together into this one. So here we go. Now we have an Ender Cell, but you can see right here, we have 0 out of 0 FE. This is where there comes another problem, which is we need to input a battery into these things. Now we can do a multitude of different batteries. I don't know if they affect it or not, but I do know that I should be able to upgrade them as I progress along. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a basic battery. Alrighty, go ahead and got myself the new battery. So here we go. Now here's the question. How difficult would it be to upgrade this battery? See, I have it right here. Oh, but oh, hold it. That's taking, see, that was taking charge from my pocket generator. That's a problem, actually. I don't want that to do that. Okay, well, it's not as if it would be too difficult, and it would give me more storage, so I'll go ahead and do that, but also, holy crap, that's bad. Okay, well, there we go, now we got that, and since it has charge, it kind of messes with the curio, but there we go. Now we got this, and that does drain the power, so I'm gonna need to move this real quickly. Okay, so now that we got a battery, what we gotta do is just gotta go ahead and shift right click this into here. No, wait, hold on. I could have sworn this is how I did this. Does it need to be the same level of battery? It might need to be the same level. Okay, I've removed my pocket generator. So just in case it also has to do with there being power in the battery, there is no power in the battery. So now, if I right click this, if I shift right click this, no. I've completely forgotten how to use the Ender Cell. Okay, I was partially right. I did need to shift right click it, but I need to do it while I was in the UI. So there we go. Now we have our Ender Cell right here, which is going to act as a battery that can hold 10 million FE, but can only output 10k FE for some reason. We are sucking up a lot of power. I'm going to hold 10 million of the... Yeah, that's all going to go. Oh, that's all gonna be, that's all going in there. Okay. Well, you see, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of the Powah version of this. It's because of the massively decreased amount of outputs I have. I don't know. But we'll figure it out soon enough, as there is still another part to this transferring of power, which is going to be the Endergates. Now, for me to get the Endergate, it is not difficult. I'm just gonna need one more of these guys. So that way I can then get these hardened cable. Okay, I should have everything. So now I can go ahead and make the hardened capacitor, which should then allow me to be able to get the energy cables, which should then allow me to get the Endergates. There we go. That is that one out of the way. Does that give me any Endergates? It does not. It gives me coin. Oh, come on. I should at least get gold coins for these. These were a pain in the butt. But here we go. Now we have ourselves our Endergates, which with these babies, I could then slap this onto a device that uses power to then transfer that power from this into that, or alternatively, to take power from other power sources and bring it back down over to here for this to be transferred into all sorts of other places. That begs the question, if I already have all these guys powered all over here, what other kind of power sources could I use, as I kind of alluded to from the beginning? Unless I didn't. I'm not good at picking up on my own signals. There are a few other power sources that I could get. The biggest thing I would like to get would be a gas burning generator, but I don't think I have enough time for that today. So I'm instead going to try getting the wind generators from Mekanism. Since the last video was sort of about me getting to Mekanism, I would like to at least get a little bit of that payoff going into the next part of it. But there's going to be a few components that's going to require us to actively start Mekanism. The next thing on the line, past the power source, because I had to do some of those, is to get ourselves this metallurgic infuser, which is the only thing blocking us from doing this. I'm just going to need a couple furnaces. And with that, we then get ourselves a metallurgic infuser. What this baby will allow us to do is this is going to allow us to create specific alloys for our purposes. So if I go ahead and plop this here, I can then set an Endergate onto here, which should have input and output, and that has already had this powered. So now, for us to get this, from this metallurgic infuser, what we need to get is this infused alloy and a basic control circuit. We're only going to need one of those, and we're going to need 5 of these infused alloys. So let's start with the infused alloy, and all this is going to take redstone. So for us to get this, we just need to put that in there, and then for this one specifically, for each redstone I dump into here, should be equal to the amounts that I'm going to use up in this. So once this thing is done, we should then get ourselves our infused alloy. We are still going to need more redstone for this one, but that should just be 2 more redstone. As for the circuit, we're going to need our osmium. I can go ahead and slap this guy into here, which should hopefully leave that as enough for everything for this. Okay, so with that, that should leave those. So then I'm just going to need to go ahead and grab myself 2 energy tablets, which should be enough for those guys. Grab my basic controller, and then I can go ahead and grab our wind generator. There we go. That is good. So now if I go over to the power generation, does this give me another? It doesn't. I actually would have liked to grab another one of these. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so how the wind generator works is very special. If I go ahead and plop this thing down here, you can see we're generating a lot of... Oh, that's KFE. That is KFE. Oh, that's a good amount. Well, what's really good about these guys, though, is actually the simple fact that these guys generate more the higher Y level I'm at. Mind you, I'm just at my base height right now. For some reason, the overworld has infinite wind. I might not need to go up. I'm going to go up just to be safe. I don't know my build limit, so I'm just going to go as high as I can. And we're just going to go ahead and make some magic happen. Actually, a more fun way to do this would probably just be to jump off the side, go all the way down, and then just place... Ooh! I can place this pretty darn high. Okay, so then, can I put this guy up here with this? Yes, I can. Okay. I'm going to need some more blocks because I didn't get enough of those. But wow, that is going way faster. Okay, it definitely has an effect. Dude, jumping into the void and using the forgiving void was way superior.
Later.
Alrighty, I added a little platform for this baby. So now, there are 2 things I could do. One thing is, when I get more of these guys, I could then actually make use of these cables that are in here, which actually, I might as well go ahead and grab now, as this will add even more of a storage buffer, as with the cables from Mekanism, they also have even more stuff in them, which allows for further space. So now I'm gonna go ahead and make a few more of those fans up there, just for thumbnail purposes, because it looks better when we have more. And here it is. We've got all of the wind turbines all set up properly. I can always add more of these if I need to, but this should be able to kickstart me enough to be able to already get better energy sources very soon. Like I had said, I do want to be able to get the gas burning generator, because what this thing will actually be able to do is it can burn various gases that we can get inside of this mod. As far as I know, the only one that's really viable is ethylene, because yeah, you can burn hydrogen, it doesn't get that much. I might be able to burn some of the later gases near the nuclear stuff, but by that point, I don't think it's worth it to stick it in a gas burning generator. Okay, that worked out really well. All that's really left for me to do now is open up today's chance cube. Yes, it is that part of the show where I open a chance cube, risking my entire series for all your entertainment. Let us go, chance cube. Whoa! Did I just get Guardians? I also got a butt ton of water. There he goes. I need a sponge now. I'll figure that out later. So, did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last FTB Skies 2 video where we went through industrial foregoing to get a laser drill and a mob farm. Bye-bye!